With the release of the new SD10 Ultimate deck comes a new leader and a new menace to the metagame. I'm talking about Red Purple Luffy. Well, it seems like we're facing another 6000 power leader, and it's actually really quite powerful despite having only 3 life. The ability to ramp itself when it's at 0 Dawn will come in handy once OPO5 comes out. The ability to ramp yourself from when you're 8 Dawn to like 9 or even 10 is really powerful, especially when you're pairing it with a lot of new cards from the Ultimate deck itself. So today I'll be sharing with y'all a Red Purple Luffy deck profile that focuses on ramping really fast and getting to that late game threat. I'm talking Whitebeard, I'm talking Shanks. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this is the deck itself. It's by Pega_1p on Twitter, and it's a kind of straightforward red purple list that focuses on ramping really fast. We'll go through every single card later on. You have a lot of ramp cards in the 4 cost slot that you can either play on your 4 Dawn turn or even your 5 Dawn turn, and then you want to ramp yourself up with Luffy's ability and then get to that really late game 9 cost characters like Shanks and Whitebeard and try to go for game that way. It's a really resilient deck despite it's starting with 3 life. Once the 7 cost Useless Kid comes down, once the 9 cost Whitebeard and Shanks comes down, it's gonna be really difficult for your opponent to kind of deal with the bigger threats, and then you can go for game right there. But now we're gonna jump into the individual deck profile and go through the cards themselves. Alright, so first of all is the deck itself. I'm going to share it on OP TCG Sim. Shout out to Batsu Games for making this software. So first of all, it's the Red Purple Luffy. So his ability, activate main once per turn if your field has 0 Dawn, or if your board has 8 or more Dawn, add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. So right now, because this 0 Dawn stipulation will come out in handy once the secret rare 10 cost Luffy from OPO5 comes into the meta game. But as of now, because I'm recording this before OPO5 comes out, so we're just going to focus on ramping it up when you have 8 or more Dawn, so you can get to that 9-10 Dawn slot really fast. So Luffy, Red Purple, and the great thing about this leader, it starts with 6000 power. 6000 power is really powerful, as evident by the Whitebeard leader itself. And the fact that you start with 3 life doesn't really matter, because you have ways to defend against this leader, because it's hard for your opponent to attack into it in the first place. So we're going to talk about the different cards itself, starting with your standard Otama. This is the player's choice of the 2k counter. I'm pretty sure you can replace this with other things that you can find really useful. This is a RAM focused build, so I'm sure that minus 2000 could be really good if you are putting in like different types of removal. So there you go. And then before we jump into the late game threats, of course you have access to red, so you have your really good 1 cost blocker in the form of Chopper. This is just to kind of protect your life when you get to that really low point, because you are starting with 3 life. You want to protect your life early if you can, so Chopper is a great choice for that. Then let's talk about the 4 cost slot ramp cards, starting with Basil Hawkins from OPO1. This is a standard 4 cost 2000 power, so it's not really a great attacker to your opponent's life, but you can use it to clear some of these smaller blockers or smaller like rested characters on your opponent's side of the field. It has counter 1000 as well, which is really useful, especially when you have 6000 power. But he has an ability of on play at 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and vest it. And if you get it off your trigger, then it's like it's a perk. But importantly, on your 4 Dawn turn, you want to ramp by at least 1 Dawn. So you have Basil Hawkins to do that. You have this card, Lead Performer Disaster, which is surprisingly really quite powerful, because not only does it draw you a card, it ramps you as well. And if you have multiples of this in the late game, once you have your 8, 9, 10 Dawn, you can always pitch this card to Queen's Effect, which we'll talk about in a bit. So the other one, the other 2k counter, which is also a 4 cost slot, is Khalifa. This is the player's choice of a 2k counter where you can draw 2 and discard 1 if you are looking desperately for your late game threats. Very powerful card, and it does double duty as a 2k counter, so that's really good. The next one I want to talk about is actually Jean Bard, which is on play. You may pay 1, you may add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck set as active. So if you are starting first, then you are having your 5 Dawn turn, you can play Jean Bard effectively and pay 1 to ramp up to 6 Dawn essentially. And then next turn you'll be at 8, and then you can use Luffy's leader's abilities effect to ramp yourself to 9 and then play your big threat. Really powerful card, especially if you're going first on your 5 Dawn turn. This is actually a really good play. Even if you're going first, you can play this on turn on your 5 Dawn turn, so it works the same way as well. This just requires you to pay 1 extra, so if you're going a second and you have 4 Dawn, you might want to hold this off and kind of prioritize playing something like Bezo Hawkins instead, or Elite Performer Disaster. The next thing is Blocker Law, 4 cost, 5000 power blocker, as well as an on-play ability that lets you don -1. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in hand, you may trash 2 cards from your hand. This is great against Whitebeard, great against any deck that wants to keep a lot of cards in hand. This is a way to get those cards out of their hand so that they have less cards to use, as well as use for counters, so that's really fantastic. And it is a blocker as well. Really powerful. And because you need to be cycling through your deck to find your late game threats, which we'll talk about in a bit, you have the Queen, which lets you draw 2, discard 1, lets you look for your late game cards. Because this deck essentially is all in on your 9 cost characters. If you have multiple Whitebeards, multiple Shanks on the field, or even Eustace Kid, a 7 cost kit that we're going to talk about in a bit, it's actually really powerful. And it does have blocker as well, so it does protect you when you are at a lower life count. And you're starting at 3, you need all the help that you can get. They also play an X-Drake, 4 copies, which is a straight 2k counter. And if you are facing against Whitebeard, once again, or any deck specifically that requires them to have a lot of cards in your hand, you want to damage it a little bit, you can use this in conjunction with Trafalgar Law, get some cards out of your hand. That's great. But the linchpin of this deck is essentially your big threat, starting with Eustace Kid. First is the 7 cost, 8000 power Eustace Kid, super rare from SD10. This is just an incredible card to be used in conjunction with the Monkey D. Luffy leader, because he makes your leader a 7k power leader till the next turn, which means that your opponent has to dedicate like a lot of dons to attack, and usually stuff are like 6k or 5k that they have to put like dons on, and most of the time you want to be attacking into your opponent's leader being 2k power higher. So for example, if my leader was 5k, most of the time people are swinging 7k so that they can force out a 3k counter. This way, you are already at 7k, so it makes countering out of stuff a little bit easier, and it's until the start of your next turn, so you are being protected until the start of your next turn. And not only that, it's when attacking as well. So when you're attacking with Eustace Kid first, you can don -1, and then you boost up your leader's power by 1000, so he's 7000, and if you have multiple Eustace Kid, you can keep bumping the leader power up, and it's until the next turn. So, you know, you're protected in a way as well. Eustace Kid, very powerful card, 100%. But the reason why you're ramping so hard is to play the big boys. 9 cost Whitebeard, nothing much to say about it. It's just a really powerful card. So much so that it's been restricted in English, but in the Japanese format, 4 times all day. And also Shanks, because he has rush, can attack, 10k power. You're just dropping these big bodies and letting your opponent deal with it. If they can't deal with it, they lose. That's great. And to round it out off, because you are starting at such a low life count, Radical Beam is the perfect 1 cost counter for this deck, because you are going to be at 2 life or less for sure, which means you get a 1 cost plus 4k counter in your hand, ready to go at any time. So essentially that's the breakdown of the deck. We're going to jump into some games and hopefully see the power of this deck. I've been trying it for a bit. It's actually really quite fun. There's different variations of this red purple Luffy deck for sure, but I really like this kind of build because it focuses on ramp and it's just playing big stuff. What's not to like? So let's jump into a game and see how this deck performs. Alright, against Zoro, not really that good, because I'm probably going to be in trouble from the early game. So we'll maul this hand because we don't have enough ramp. So we'll maul it. This is better. I am going second after all. So draw Dawn, and yeah, I'm gonna end turn. So we have a 4 Dawn play. We have another play to ramp up even further. So that's good. And again, Zoro, you're gonna be having a lot of oh, that's tough. Your base power is at 6k, so you have an easier time countering out of attack, so that's good. So you're gonna sing with 7. Sorry, 6k. Okay. I will be countering quite heavily against Zoro, but for this one, I will take. Draw. Okay, that's good. Eustace Kid is really good, because I wanted to keep this so I can straight away just ramp. Okay, I ramped 1, and then I'll just attack for 6. He's probably gonna take it because it's at 5. Like, okay, he's counted out of it. So that's these as well. So right now I have something to, attack into his smaller stuff. That's a Rush Zoro, for 1 Zoro, so that's 6k. So no blocks here. I can counter with Jean Bart. Do I need Jean Bart? I'm at 7 extents. So I'm probably playing Kid. So I will counter this. I'm gonna try and counter really hard this turn. So I'm probably dropping the queen as well. So draw a card, draw a Dawn. We'll play the kid out. Use the card action. Return a Dawn. Attack with Luffy into the Zoro. It's probably blocked with Chopper or something. Oh, he lets it go. So that's fine. We're gonna end turn. And next turn we can play, you know, Whitebeard. And still have, you know, ways to pump up our leader. I'm at 7k, so he can't really attack in. So maybe not the best play for this. Alright, so right now I'm going to use his ability to ramp myself. And I'm just going to drop down my Whitebeard. So now I'm at 8k. And then I'm going to attack with Useless Kid for 8. Use the card action to Dawn -1. Makes my leader a 9k till the next turn. So now I'm going to attack with this for 9. Which is hard to kind of defend against. And though my defenses are down, I am at 9k, so it's easy to counter out of attacks. And I can drop down another Whitebeard next turn. Insane. I can also leave a Radical Beam. Okay, so he has a lot of blockers. That's great. I'm just going to keep swinging like 9k attacks or 8k attacks at him. So let's hope for the best. So what's this? 4, 7. It's probably going to spend some, you know, resources attacking into this. So 10k. I'm not gonna block. I'm just gonna counter out of it with just a 2k. I can't block this. And oh no, I should have saved to protect the kid instead. I think I misplayed there. So I should have taken the life, defended them twice. But there you go. Oh, it's fine. We have our Whitebeards. Answer prayers answered, but I think I'll drop down another Whitebeard here. That's my reasoning. It's just so powerful of a play. So yeah, I'm gonna okay. Wait. First of all, I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna attack Luffy. See if he lets go one of his blockers. Okay, he lets Luffy go. Then I play my Whitebeard. And I'll just attack to the leader. Can ignore Sanji for now. He needs so much to make it work. And I'm probably gonna enter. Wish I could put one Dawn and attack in, but I want to leave for Radical Beam just in case. I'm at 2 life though, so that kid play, I feel like I should have protected it, but you know, I had another Whitebeard in hand, I had Shanks in hand. I'm prioritizing the big stuff. He has been whiffing hard. I feel sorry for this Tattoo 2010. Unfortunate, but it happens, especially when you're playing like multiple searches. Oh man, that's like 3 whiffs earlier on. Maybe the ratios of his deck isn't like complete or isn't proper. We don't know. So his only attacker right now is like Sanji. So maybe next turn I can just put 2 Dawns. I think I'll take this, right? We got another Shanks, ladies and gents. Okay, this on our Radical Beam. It's kind of wasted to use Radical Beam here. Should I just take it? I'm just afraid he has like Diablo Jambe or something. So I'll counter out of it just to protect. Okay. So right now, do I want to play Shanks? I think no, right? I think play Kid. So I'll get rid of one blocker. He's probably going to use this to block. If he doesn't, it's a misplay. Ooh, okay, interesting. Minus 10k power. I can still use as effect. Gotta think this through a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm really safe next turn, which, you know, could be difficult. So let me think what I'm supposed to do. So I'm 8 Dawns, -1. I'm back to 9. And I could still put 2 dons to get rid of this. Probably not the play there. So deploy, use, return 1 here. I'll get 1 don back. I'm gonna try and get rid of the Sanji. How about that? Okay, that's not bad. So I don't really need to go for game this turn. Alright, let's see if he has it. Because I have like 0 counters in hand right now. So this may not be the best. Okay, so Sanji is gonna full on. Oh, Makino's coming in. I'm at 7k, so he needs to spend like. Okay, this is good because I can just counter out of this. This is 2, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is 8. I think I'm blocking this. So now we gotta kind of, see if he's gonna all in or he's gonna spread some to Izo as well. And I'll take this. No trigger. That's 2k counter. Just gonna let it go. I think that's it. Just gonna attack with Whitebeard. Does he have Radical Beam? 1 more. And this should do it. There we go. Whitebeards all around. So yeah, that's the kind of way the deck plays. I mean, I'm sure I misplayed certain things over here. You can roast me in the comments, don't worry. But yeah, that's what the deck wants to do. It wants to ramp up as fast as possible. I think it's a really unique take. I'm sure there are better, more competitive lists out there, but this is fun. I really like being able to ramp so fast in such a short amount of time. But yeah, that's the game. So there you go, a little look into the new menace that is Red Purple Luffy with 6,000 power as the leader. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is a build that's just focusing on ramping. I'm sure there's other lists out there that's kind of more tuned competitively, but this is fun too. And once this ultimate deck is out in English, I urge you to give it a try if you have the cards, because it's really quite fun. Anyway, that's it for me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile plus a little bit of gameplay, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.